All right, it is Friday night, and that means it is time for another edition of Smack Talk. Shall we call it a holiday edition? Denise Salcedo, are you over the turkey coma yet?
No, not yet. I think I'm definitely still in Thanksgiving mode. I mean, it's Black Friday, but I just feel like it's an extended day where you eat leftovers, and I'm still in the holiday spirit.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there. I did have to work yesterday, and I have to work all this weekend. This was like my day off today, and I'm still working in typical fashion. But it is what it is. Had a good day yesterday. I hope you did too. Hope anybody who's watching right now had a good Thanksgiving and ate all the turkey and side dishes that your heart desired, and of course the pie. You just can't go with Thanksgiving without pie.
Agreed.
All right, real quick before we get to business, Denise, favorite Thanksgiving side dish?
Definitely stuffing, without a doubt. Hands down.
Okay. Are we talking stovetop, just the normal, regular old stuffing?
Well, I don't make the stuffing, so I don't know. I just eat it. I just show up and it's already on my plate looking delicious.
Fair enough. See, because my mom has been making pineapple stuffing since I was born, and that's always the thing that I look forward to the most. So yeah, I'll have to go stuffing as well. But I do say I make an excellent sweet potato casserole, and that would have to be a close two. And now I'm hungry again. So
that's good to know. I also forgot that you mentioned on previous shows that you actually cook, or was it that you bake? Or you bake and you cook?
I cook and I bake. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're just a double whammy here. I don't do.
Denise, I don't know if you know this. I'm a catch. When you look the way that I do, you have to offer other services to land somebody, especially as good as my wife is. Yeah, I do cook, I do bake, and I do clean a little bit as well. So yeah, I'm a total package for as much as I can be, Denise.
I love it. Sell it, work it, man.
I don't have to sell to anybody anymore. I've already been bought and purchased. All right, let's get into this tonight. Denise, you and I talking before the show tonight, not on the same page as far as this is concerned. I actually thought this was a fairly decent show, especially coming off of what we saw in the Go Home edition last week. Your overall thoughts, though, not so much.
I wasn't crazy about SmackDown whatsoever today at all. I think, when was it? I think the first hour, we're just a couple minutes shy away from the first hour. I looked at the clock and I thought, oh my God, a whole hour has gone by. And I can't tell you anything major that I thought was important on the show that actually occurred. Anything that gained my interest, nothing. I would say that definitely the last few minutes with everything that we saw go down with Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, and Kevin Owens, that was all great and fine and dandy, but I thought the show was not that great today. I thought it was, I know you said that you thought that last week's show wasn't good, and I would say that I felt the exact same how I felt last week's show and how I feel this week's show. Unfortunately, because I went in there thinking, okay, this is going to be a decent show. It was not.
Well, first off, we didn't even know it was going to be on the show until about 15 minutes beforehand, which made me think that there were massive rewrites for this, or they weren't sure what. Either that or they just completely forgot to mention what was on the show tonight. And then when they sent out, the video, I forget who it was that did the backstage video saying that what they had coming up. And I'm like, okay, so we're getting Otis versus King Corbin. We're getting a tag team match. And then I forget what the third thing they said was. And I'm just like, all right, I don't know if I'm oh, it was Sami versus Daniel Bryan. That got me genuinely excited to see Sami versus Daniel, because I'll watch those guys wrestle for 24 hours straight. I don't care. But yeah, I didn't have high hopes going in. So maybe that's why I think it wasn't too bad. I did love what Jey Uso and Roman Reigns did again tonight. They absolutely carried the show for me. I think as overall as a whole, I'm more excited about what tonight set up than maybe what was actually on the show. But why don't we start with Jey?
Do you mean in terms of what it set up just for what we saw in the last segment, or what you think it's set up throughout the entire show?
What is set up throughout the entire show, because now all of a sudden we're looking at the possibility of Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, or possibly even Daniel Bryan getting in the mix. We're looking at possibly Big E versus Sami Zayn, which is great. I'd rather see, Big E wrestle, but it looks like we now have a direction for Big E moving forward. I thought that was a pretty good exchange with him. It looks like we're getting Bianca versus Bayley at some point. Sasha versus Carmella is heating up. And okay, I'm not overly crazy about the tag team division right now outside of the Street Profits, but still there's some good things coming up down the pike, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I wanted to see a clear direction, especially with all the champions coming out of Survivor Series, because we really didn't know with Survivor Series this past Sunday, and now we have a clear direction, it seems, with all these champions. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay, see, I like that. You mentioned all those things, and yeah, I can definitely see why you would be excited about those stuff. So I think it's more in terms of like what the future may bring and that sort of thing. But I think I'm seeing it more as today's show just didn't really necessarily pique my interest with a lot of what went down tonight.
Yeah, there were, well, because the opening match was supposed to be Otis versus King Corbin. I wasn't necessarily looking forward to that, and thankfully Jey Uso tried to rectify some things, and let's start there. Jey Uso opens up the show again tonight, cuts a promo talking about how everybody's talking about The Undertaker. I don't know if anybody's talking about The Undertaker anymore. I think we're all kind of Undertakered out. No offense against The Undertaker.
I think WWE is still talking about The Undertaker. I think a lot of us are still trying to register that he's retired.
How much longer can we milk the cash cow? Because we're showing Undertaker commercials tonight. We replayed his video tonight. I'm like, guys, do not make me sick of The Undertaker. I don't want to be sick of The Undertaker, but you're doing a dang good job of, if that's your end goal is to make us all sick of The Undertaker so we never want to see him again, it's working.
Do you think they're doing it because a lot of people still don't think it's like his real retirement, but they're trying to tell us, hey guys, it's real. We're done. This is it. Like, why do you think so? Or do you think that it's just like such a grand moment that they're like, we got to replay it over and over to like, just really put over the fact that it was such a grand moment?
I don't even know. I kind of thought
because I haven't been able to decide that. That's my internal dilemma. I'm like, are they trying to put over that it was such a grand moment? That's why we got to see it every week. Or are they trying to put over the fact that this is it? Like, that's it. It's done. It might be a little bit of both. I'm overthinking it. Today, I'm overthinking things. This is it. This is the thing I was overthinking today.
I don't know. I think tonight they were just trying to kill some time. They wanted to roll some minutes out there and replay that video package and kind of just put everything to bed. But no, I do think this is finally it for him. I did think the farewell on Sunday was a bit not necessary. Like, it wasn't really anything. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I had it in my mind that the Fiend was going to get involved in some way and take.
So you had it in your mind that it wasn't really real.
No, I still thought it was real, but I thought that they would do a send-off to like maybe put somebody else over on the way out. So I was watching this thinking something was going to happen. There was going to be some kind of action, and then it wasn't. They trot out all these legends and put them in the middle of the ring, and everybody's in suits and jeans except for Kane, because I guess he didn't get the memo. Kane comes down, and then they do the video package, and they come back and they're all gone. So it was completely pointless for all those guys to just go out there because they weren't in the ring anymore. They weren't there when Taker was there. Vince McMahon introduces them. It's a 20-minute walk down to the ring. He says 3 sentences, and then it's a 20-minute walk out. And I'm like, okay, what was the point of that? I would have much rather been the end of the show, been just Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns, which was a hell of a matchup. And we're going to get this all again, Denise, when they announce The Undertaker as the sole entrant into the 2021 Hall of Fame. So we're going to get all of this Undertaker stuff again here in 5 short months.
I feel like they somehow, some way got to do it with an audience. I just like, it doesn't feel like a proper send off without the audience. Like, that's part of the reason why I didn't get super emotional watching. I should have shed more tears than I did. I was sad, but part of me was just like, we got to see this with like people.
You know what absolutely killed it for me on Sunday?
What?
Was The Undertaker actually pausing to soak in the piped in Undertaker chants.
Did that ruin it for you?
That took me out of it completely. I'm like, this feels so phony. This just feels so phony and not genuine. And yeah, that I think that's what absolutely killed it for me. So I'm hoping, with vaccines coming and everything, by the time WrestleMania rolls around, whether it's in Tampa or whether it's in Los Angeles, I know you want it to be in LA.
Oh, it's not going to be in Los Angeles. We're going downhill, man. Have you not seen our news lately? It's bad.
Yeah, what? So you're confined to that room? Like, you literally cannot leave for like the next 10 months?
No, they haven't really said like it's an actual lockdown. They're more of like doing like I think it was like a 3-week thing where they're just like, you can't have parties. And I'm like, dude, so many people haven't been even paying attention to that. Like, everybody's Jay's been having parties. It's terrible. I've been seeing it all over neighborhoods and whatnot. But yeah, it's like not an official lockdown, but I think we're headed that direction.
Probably. I think a lot of us are heading in that direction right now. I know in Ohio they put in some half butt measures, and yeah, that's probably not.
That's how we are right now. We have some half butt measures too.
Nobody wants to go back to the full lockdown, Denise, but they're just trying to kill some time until these vaccines are available, which is supposedly going to be in a few weeks anyway. So we'll see. Fingers crossed on everything. Fingers crossed that we're going to have fans of the Royal Rumble in a month. And
fingers crossed we can see humans again.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice. I mean, I get to see my coworkers and my family, but it would be genuinely nice to see some other people every now and again. So, anywho, I forget where are we? What happened?
We're going to talk about Roman Reigns and Jey Uso because we mentioned that's what people want to talk about, so we would kick things off there.
Right, exactly. Okay, so Jey Uso opens up. Right, he mentions the Undertaker, which is where I went off on my rant there. So he opens up, talking about how everybody should be talking about Roman Reigns' big victory over Drew McIntyre, and he's trying to put over his cousin, and then Roman Reigns interrupts him. He comes down, and Roman is pissed off. And I love this angle that they're doing here, where like nothing that Jey does is good enough for Roman. Like Jey is trying his butt off to please his cousin, and it doesn't matter what he does. It's not enough. He could be flawless in his execution, and Roman will want him to go to the nth degree. I'm not exactly sure where this ride is taking us with Jey Uso, if it's going to be an overtaking or what, or eventually he will finally appease his cousin, but I'm enjoying the ride along the way here.
You know what this reminds me of? And I like the fact that this is becoming so much more clear where, like you said, Jey Uso is trying to really impress Roman and, he's trying to do right by him and all of that just so he can gain some sort of respect from him. And something always goes wrong. And this is what I feel like it's happening. So, when you're a little kid and your mom's like, you've been really bad, you got to behave good. And you've like been doing great, like like several hours. And then your cousin or your brother pisses you off and you get in a fight. And your mom's like, you're awful. I'm so mad at you. That's exactly what I feel it's happening right now with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. It's like he snaps, he has this anger management, he's doing all of this bad stuff, but then just when you think he's got, a hold of himself, something goes awry and things don't go as planned for him.
Yeah, so and I get what Roman is trying to do, right? He wants to light that fire under Jey Uso, or at least manipulate Jey into doing his dirty work. Like Roman could do it himself. And we saw that at the end of the show. Like Roman is watching Jey Uso beat down on Kevin Owens with a steel folding chair, and then KO turns it around. And KO, he gets the chair and he's wailing on Jey, and KO is so good at the end of the show. He is just screaming, cutting promos into the camera like, I ain't afraid of you. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm going to beat your cousin until you come down here. And Roman's just like, no, I'm not coming down there. I don't care. But the look on Roman's face was not so much that he's afraid of Kevin Owens, because I genuinely believe that Roman Reigns thinks he can handle Kevin Owens. He looks so annoyed of the fact that he was
got one over on him.
Yeah, he was going to have to be the one to do this. Like he didn't want to have to humble Kevin Owens, but now he's annoyed because Jey couldn't get the job done. So now he has to be the one to go kick Kevin Owens' butt. And that was such a good look from Roman at the end of the night.
And I think Kevin Owens was perfect in this situation. Like if I were to think of anybody to be put in that spot for tonight, I can't think of anybody who would came across as believable and as likable as Kevin Owens. And he's got everything in the makings where he can be a total contrast to Roman Reigns, because again, people right now, Kevin Owens hasn't really been a focal point of a storyline. He's sort of been floating around, and we've mentioned this, we just saw him on NXT. He had that thing a couple of weeks ago with Aleister Black. Then he got involved with the Alexa Bliss thing. I mean, it's just been all over the place with Kevin Owens. So now I kind of like the direction in which this is headed and where he's been placed, because I think that he can do pretty good and maybe even help continue, bringing forth new things into the storyline that, especially if right now, since it's so hot, WWE needs to keep this fresh. How do you keep this fresh? Incorporating these new elements. What are these new elements? Kevin Owens could be one of those new elements.
Right. And I think what they did, though, that was so good tonight is, and as Rob brings up, Jey and Roman's angle is probably the most watchable storyline out of all of WWE. And I wholeheartedly agree right now. It's just really, really good stuff. I think the thing that they did so well tonight was kind of interweaving the stories. Because Jey Uso, Roman basically gave Jey a hit list at the top of the show tonight. He was like, look, your team sucked because they didn't respect you. You lost to Daniel Bryan and now he doesn't respect you and they don't fear me. So get your crap together. And what do we see? Immediately, Otis comes down before Jey even leaves the ring. Otis is getting there, and then here comes Jey with a folding chair and just wails on him. So check one. There's one off the list. And then later on in the night, Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan are having a spectacular match where Zayn gets a much-needed win, and it appears that he gets the win doing what Sami Zayn has been doing, outsmarting his opponents. And he leaves the ring, he runs out there and looks like it's a double count out. And then all of a sudden, Sami's sprinting down at 8-9 and dives back into the ring to win the match by count out. And you're thinking, all right, he outsmarted Daniel Bryan again. Nope. We go to the back and all of a sudden Jey Uso is wailing on Daniel Bryan. And, he's trying to beat that respect into Daniel Bryan because he lost to him last week. And then Kevin Owens comes down and gets involved, and we get the whole backstage segment. So really, they took about five. They incorporated like 5 new superstars into this angle almost tonight, and it was just really well done how they kind of tied everything in together. And now it appears that Kevin Owens is next in line to go up against Roman Reigns, but also Daniel Bryan is now out there. So maybe those are the next 2 opponents. Maybe we get KO at TLC and maybe Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble. Either way, I'm excited to see what's up next.
Yeah, and if it's definitely Kevin Owens, it wouldn't hurt him, obviously, to lose to Roman Reigns because, like I said, he hasn't even been doing much as of late. So just the fact that he's in this program and then he's being put in the hottest program only does favors for him. And I really think that this was the strength in what we saw in all of tonight's show. Like, this was the meat of the show. This was like the stuffing of the Thanksgiving dinner.
Nice. Very, very nice. And look, there's no shame for anybody losing to Roman Reigns. Like, seriously, even if he had beaten Drew McIntyre clean at Survivor Series, which probably a good thing for Drew that they didn't do it that way. But still, even if that had happened, there's no shame because he is the top of the mountain. He is the apex. I'm not going to say predator, but I was
going to say apex predator. When you hear apex, my brain automatically goes to predator.
As every WWE fan should, yes. But he is the top guy, so there's no harm whatsoever in losing to Roman Reigns. So it's not like everybody loves to say, oh my God, well they buried this person or they buried that person. It all depends on how Kevin Owens loses to Roman Reigns. If Roman Reigns goes out there and he gets the John Cena versus Brock Lesnar treatment, okay, that might be a message that things aren't going to go so well for Kevin Owens moving down the line. But if KO gets close and Jey Uso has to get involved again, I'm really hoping that's not a crutch, though, because I love the fact that Roman Reigns is kind of untouchable right now. And I kind of only want Drew McIntyre to be the guy that gets close for a while. Like, right. Drew McIntyre was going to win that match until Jey Uso got involved. And I want that to be where it is. I expect a good match if it is KO and Roman Reigns at TLC, but I want Roman Reigns to win in convincing fashion. I want him to be an untouchable for a while until maybe even it's Drew and Roman again down the line.
And I think if he does obviously they go into direction with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, I think, has been, like, all the matches that he has been in, he always brings such a different level of energy to every single match. It like almost doesn't matter for him if it's just like, this random match on a random Raw, random SmackDown, whatever the case may be. He always goes out there and you're going to get a full Kevin Owens. You're not going to get like Kevin Owens just doing like 50% of his best. So goes in there with Roman Reigns. I could expect a great match out of that.
Yeah, we are getting a ton of comments in, a lot of them about praising the fact that there was no Lars Sullivan on the show again tonight. And
I know what's going on with that. Is there a mystery that we haven't solved?
Don't know, don't care.
They didn't want to bring him up for the holiday season and piss everybody off.
Let's just let the good vibes roll on this one. Maybe they.
No, doesn't it worry you that he hasn't been on? Because then you never know when he's going to come in. He could come in and ruin something. So what if something happens on the show and it's wonderful and you're like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And then Lars Sullivan comes in.
Why do you try?
That's why it worries me that he hasn't been on. I'm like, I'd rather have him be on and get used to it than have him come unexpectedly when I don't want it.
Why do you try to hurt me, Denise, with these situations that you just throw out there?
Hypotheticals.
where Lars, like Big E's about to win the Intercontinental Championship, and here comes Lars's doofy ass down, down to the ring.
You know what I mean? I like hypotheticals, Rick.
I'm
I like
sure.
hypotheticals.
I don't like your hypotheticals. Getting to some of the other comments. One person asked a really, really good question, and now I am trying to find it again. I know it was Paul. Paul's sent in like 1,800 messages, so I'm trying to find. There it is.
Oh, Paul.
Okay. Yeah. So, Paul, I do love my boy Sami. How can I condone his cowardly actions every week? So here's the thing. I don't want Sami Zayn to be that cowardly, I'm afraid to fight everybody heel. I don't like that. I don't like that character really for anybody outside of like The Miz. Like I really just don't like that character unless it fits you. Unless it's like James Ellsworth or it's I'm trying not to insult anybody, but somebody who genuinely needs to have an advantage to win a matchup. Like Baron Corbin being the chicken crap heel, afraid to fight everybody when he's 6'8", 285, and has the most devastating moveset in the company, doesn't make sense. Sami Zayn being afraid of Daniel Bryan doesn't make sense because Sami Zayn is every good a bit of technical wrestler as Daniel Bryan is. He's one of the best in the world. So I don't want Sami Zayn to be that. That being said, he plays it really well. My love for Sami Zayn is just him as an overall talent. But I do love the fact that he is able to win matches by staying within the rules. Does he bend them a little bit? Yes. Does he break them? Not necessarily, but he still finds ways to win. And that's what I like. What I'm hoping is with all of this, there's a conspiracy against Sami Zayn, which there totally is, by the way. And I think it's by design. Did you notice tonight? Maybe it was just my feed. Maybe somebody else can help me out here. That they came back from commercial and he was already talking. So they like missed the first part of his promo. Did anybody else notice that? Or was that just my feed?
And maybe I just didn't pay enough attention to that.
Yeah, because it's like they immediately came back and he was talking about Thanksgiving. Like, I don't like that. It just seemed like a weird time. It was either right at the beginning or they missed the first part of it. Dude's not in the open. He didn't get a TV intro a few weeks back. There's definitely, something going on, and I think it is by design. So maybe sooner or later they'll transition Sami Zayn into being a babyface again, which he also plays really, really well. But
how did you feel about his match at Survivor Series with Bobby Lashley? Were you upset about it? How did you feel? Because I personally did enjoy the match, and I didn't enjoy the outcome either.
I was just happy it wasn't a full-on squash match, because that's what I was afraid was going to happen. I thought the bell was going to ring, he would be talking crap with, the Hurt Business, and then Bobby would hit him with like a couple of spears and throw him around the ring. At least he got some offense in. Like I didn't have any high hopes for that match whatsoever. It's just, especially after last week when he was in the match for all about 30 seconds, right? And he loses. And then he's going up against Bobby Lashley. I'm like, I'm not feeling good about his prospects for the future, especially as being a long reigning Intercontinental champion, which was why it was nice that one, he didn't get squashed on Sunday, and two, that he won tonight, even though it was via count out and he got some help from Jey Uso. It was still nice that he won a match. But then later on in the evening, he has that backstage interaction with Big E, and I am both excited and scared because I love Sami Zayn and I want him to be the Intercontinental Champion for a long time. But now it appears they're transitioning into a program with Big E, and there is no way Big E doesn't win the Intercontinental Championship, which will make me happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah, I totally see that because, again, we've been out here rooting for Big E to even get some sort of feature on this show. And now he's finally starting to get it, but it's looking like it's gonna, definitely affect Sami Zayn on this one. And I think, if anything, I'm excited for them to, I think they would do a good program together. I'd look forward to it, but I just don't want to see this like foolish version of Sami Zayn. I completely agree with you in the sense of like, let's have him be that guy that, is just smarter than his opponent, that mad genius type of person. Yeah, he's a little kooky, but you know what? He's brilliant instead of being kooky and, not brilliant. So I think there's good ways in which they can present him and not necessarily make him look like a dud.
Right. And here's the thing. You got a guy out here who is screaming at the top of his lungs for respect. He's trying to earn the respect of his coworkers. He wants to earn the respect of his bosses. He wants to be treated better by the company. But at the same time, he's ducking opponents and he's making up excuses, and it would mean so much more if you're trying to get respect, if you're actually like winning matches and doing it in a way that makes you look good, and like you're not afraid to step up to Daniel Bryan because you know how good you are. Right now it's just Sami Zayn out there bloviating hot air because it doesn't mean anything because he's not backing it up with his actions. Did I do a good enough job explaining that?
No, yeah, I completely get that. Yeah. No, I totally see that, and I just think that they don't always have to necessarily be putting someone down to lift somebody up. There's ways in which two people can become stars together.
Yes.
Not together, but at coherently at the same time.
Right, exactly. Somebody can look good in defeat and vice versa. I do have to agree with Rob on this one. Well, not that Daniel Bryan got a decent haircut because he got the Miz haircut, but Sammy does need to cut his hair. I think
I still like the Daniel Bryan haircut. I think it's very fashionable. Like if I were a man, that'd probably be the man haircut that I would get.
Do you think I would look good with that haircut?
Yes, I think you would. Like shave off the sides, get that part, slick it back. You never know. Come on, 2021, new you. I was going to say new. How does it go? New year. Oh yeah, new year, new you.
Yeah. Hopefully there's a lot of, new goodness coming up in 2021. We all need some good vibes, but I don't know. Maybe I've had the same haircut for roughly 32 years, so maybe it's time to shake it up every now and then.
Come on, shake it up.
AJ with an interesting question here. Big E and Woods, the possibility that they both become WWE champion in the future.
I feel that sometimes what happens, and we saw this with Kofi, is that when you see a certain guy, as a tag team, as part of a tag team, I almost feel like it's hard for them to see them as somebody that could be a singles competitor on their own. And that's unfortunate, but that's how I feel things are seen. And so I don't see it right now for Woods. I don't see it right now for Big E just because of base of what we've seen. And obviously my answer will hopefully be different in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but I would definitely see it for Big E a lot first before Woods.
Yeah, I'm on the same. I definitely believe that E has a much better chance than Xavier, which sucks because I think Xavier is one of the most underrated in-ring performers that the company has. Dude has been on fire since he came back from his Achilles injury. At the very least, I just hope he gets to be King of the Ring one day. Let's start there because that's all Dude Bro wants out of life, other than a G4 show, which congrats to him, by the way, for getting that. But other than that, all Dude Bro wants is to be King of the Ring. So yes, please, let's make that happen. As for E, man, this is something that should have happened a long time ago for him. I'm hoping the company is realizing his value as a singles performer, and whether, let's say the Intercontinental Championship is a good start. Okay, cool. I think I'd rather see him win the Royal Rumble and challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It doesn't look like that's the direction they're going, but you never know. Maybe Sammy finds a way to outsmart Big E and hangs on to the Intercontinental title, and that is the direction that they go with this. But I definitely think he should have been by now. I think he should be in the future. If I'm picking two guys out of this company, especially from SmackDown, that should be future world champions, it is Big E and it is Montez Ford. Those are my two guys. I think they both have everything you want out of future world champions, and they both should be before their careers are over.
I'm definitely on that Montez Ford boat. I would love to see him as champion, down the line. Obviously, I don't see it in the near future, but down the line, yeah. I would love that. Oh, I'm such a big fan of this guy because I feel like, Rick, right now that they obviously haven't been wrestling in front of an audience. It's easy to go out there and do a half-assed job. It's really easy to go out there and just, not put a full effort in it, not pull your full energy, not, take the craziest bumps or whatever. And I don't see that with Montez Ford at all. And this is one of the things that I've been thinking about each and every single week that I see him go out there, no matter what it is that he does. I mean, come on, how many times whenever he does that frog splash, don't we all go, oh, he went higher than last week. No, he was higher the other week. Oh, he went higher than last week, right? Like just little things like that and just really bringing the energy to the show. I think to me, it earns a lot of brownie points to where like, I like this guy's energy and I like where his mindset is at. And that's somebody who I would like to see become champion someday.
Yeah, I don't think he has a gear other than full throttle.
Like
I think
always on.
Yeah, he is always on, whether it's just doing a goofy dance or cutting a quality promo or, doing some insane stuff in the ring. I mean, the guy has more hops than anybody, and the guy can literally jump out of the Thunderdome. We know that. But, I mean, the guy can sell. He can cut a promo. He's highly entertaining. Obviously, great in-ring work. Yeah, the guy is a 5-tool player. That's a baseball reference, I know, but I will use it in professional wrestling. He has everything you could want. Maybe you can make that argument that he doesn't have the stereotypical size of a world champion. Can't make that argument with Big E. They call him Big E for a reason, but maybe that's the only thing that could hold Montez back. But right now, I love what he and Angelo Dawkins are doing. I know everybody looks at Montez Ford as the star of that team. Angelo Dawkins is somebody who has really upped his game this year, and he was the star of that tag team match tonight for sure.
Yeah, I would say that there are certain matches where I think they go back and forth. There's times where I'm like, oh, Montez Ford was a star here. Nope, Dawkins was the star here. And that's good because you don't always want to have the same person be the star in every team. That's just going to suck for the other guy, you know?
Yeah. Let's see. Paul with another question. Why aren't their cups blue now? They're on SmackDown. The big one that Montez has is blue. I don't know.
Maybe go to Party City and get some blue cups.
See, I didn't even know they made blue Solo cups.
They do, actually. I know this because I went to Party City a couple of years ago, and they have all the colors.
Really?
They have yellow, they have pink, they have all the colors. Just the red one is like the one that you see most commercially used. But if you go to some place like Party City where they go by like colors, you go to that section where they have all the same yellow plates and the napkins and all of that. You'll find the cups there. Right.
All right, good tip there if we're ever looking for multicolored Solo cups, Denise. Appreciate it. You guys are watching Smack Talk here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter channels. I am Rick Ucchino. That is Denise Salcedo. We are with you every Friday night right after SmackDown, right up until about 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to get more of your comments in. We'll try to get to as many of them throughout the entirety of the program. Make sure to give us a like or a heart or a laugh if I say something funny, which does happen from time to time. The more engagement we get, the bigger our audience grows. So we do greatly appreciate it. And we appreciate the 63 people who are still watching at this point. So Denise, we talked about the Street Profits. They did have the first matchup of the night tonight against Ziggler and Rude. Ziggler and Rude with a win. Your thoughts on that?
You know, I know why Ziggler and Rude are a team, and I get it and all of that, and we definitely need teams on the tag team division. But personally, I have no interest. I'm just not interested. They haven't done anything where I'm like, you know what? I'm interested in seeing Ziggler and Rude together. So unfortunately, I will have to say that my interest was a little bit off on this match. Obviously, I was interested just because of the Street Profits, and I know that doesn't matter who their opponents are. They're going to have a solid match. Like, it's never going to be a terrible match. So that was perfectly fine, but it kind of takes me out. There's nothing that Dolph Ziggler or Rude to me are bringing to the table that feels new, fresh, or exciting.
Yeah, even their promos was kind of like the same stuff that they've been.
It wasn't funny. I was like, I could have written that, and I'm a terrible comedic writer.
Yeah, like Dolph is kind of like a stand-up comedian in his part-time, right? Like,
I don't know much about his outside life, but he is though, right?
I think he is. Like,
yeah, he is. I feel like I know that.
Or he's aspiring, which is weird because I personally have never found him all that funny.
That's really weird. That's strange, isn't it?
So maybe it's kind of like he's an ironic comedian, whereas the fact that he's not funny, I don't know. But I'll hold judgment until I actually see a set. But
That's true.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same stuff talking about how he eats a lot. Ha 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 ha. They could have thrown in a Shorty G joke for all I know because it's the same stuff they've been spewing. But what I did think was the right call was actually having them win this matchup tonight. Because if you look at the tag team division, one on Raw, where it's literally bare bones, like you have New Day, who's way up here, and then the Hurt Business, who lost again. I don't know who else is on the show that can even challenge. So you know that feud's going to continue. At least over on SmackDown, there's a few teams right now. And I think they are buying time until Jimmy Uso is ready, and then it's going to be the Usos versus the Street Profits. I will bet a decent amount of coin that's what's going to be the WrestleMania program. But right now, the Street Profits are so high. They have been so white hot for so long now. And then all the other active teams on SmackDown just down here treading water, losing match after match after match. None of them have any equity. None of them. So one of those teams had to get a big win to at least bring the Street Profits down a little bit and bring somebody else back up. So it needed to happen. I don't think Ziggler and Rude have a chance of winning the tag team titles, but at least getting a win over them makes me think that there is a slight possibility that they go that direction.
Yeah, and you know what that reminds me of right now that you're talking about them being so hot and then nobody really being at that level? It reminds me of the Viking Raiders. Remember that big pop they got when they became champions? And like they were so hot, people were loving them. They were doing cool stuff. It was impressive. And then they could become champions. They really have no actual credible opponents. They're having these, whatever matches every week. And then that just really went downhill for them. And now nobody cares. So you definitely don't want to see that happen to the Street Profits.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I Paul, that's a good one. That's a good line.
Oh yeah. Good job, Paul.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yep, you might be funnier than Dolph. Somebody did say, Ozzy did say that Dolph does shows in Phoenix. I think he's done shows in the Cleveland area too. He's been around. Heck, I think he and Mick Foley actually did a comedy tour together. Because Mick Foley doesn't necessarily do comedy, but Mick Foley's just naturally funny, so he does these shows and he goes around and talk, kind of like Kevin Smith. He just kind of goes around and does these shows and talks, and he just tells funny stories. So there you go. I think we did solve that one. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the rest of the tag team division on SmackDown, you have Shinsuke and Cesaro, which just lost to the Street Profits 2 weeks ago. Obviously Ziggler and Rude, and then I think the only other tag team are the Mysterios. But are they even a tag team?
I was gonna say, I don't know. You can. It's kind of like you can't always, like, sometimes they're like Y in AEIOU. Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Here's the thing: they should be like they absolutely,
yes.
They absolutely should be like. And I tweeted this out earlier. They are their own people. They're their own entity. They can be doing their own stuff. They don't have to be hanging around Aaliyah and Murphy every second of every day on every show. I was hoping that with this Seth Rollins storyline over, and for a second there, they made me think it wasn't over until King Corbin showed up, that we would see these guys go their own way. They would do their own stuff. And then all of a sudden, King Corbin, who didn't get his match with Otis, interrupts a promo with Rey Mysterio. He trashes the entire Mysterio family, and then all of a sudden it sets up a match between him and Murphy, in which Ray and Dominic are down there cheering him on and getting involved. And they actually got involved a lot in this matchup, to where I'm going.
Aaliyah, she used her womanly charm to do some to piss off Baron Corbin a few times there.
I'm like, wait a minute, who's the baby face and who's the heel in this matchup? Because Corbin's the heel, right? He should be the one using the shady tactics. And then all of a sudden we literally get Dominic Mysterio like pushing feet off and doing this stuff and costing Corbin the match. And I'm like, all right, I'm confused at this by the basic standpoint of if you're a good guy, if you're a babyface, you shouldn't be doing this stuff. But then again, I'm okay with blurring the lines every once in a while. And Corbin did say some shady stuff backstage. So yeah, you kind of want to get your revenge on him. But I don't know. This whole thing was weird tonight. And guess what, Denise? We're getting it again next week because Corbin says he's coming back and he's coming prepared. I don't know what that means. I didn't know Corbin had friends, but here we go.
Yay. I'm looking forward to it. Hashtag sarcasm. You
love King Corbin.
I don't even have words for you, Rick. You stumped me. I was like, I don't know what to say to that answer.
Let's see. Rob also asking why the Viking Raiders can't be drafted over to SmackDown to shake things up. Well, the problem is one half of the Viking Raiders just had neck surgery, so he is going to be out for
a bit
for quite some time. And that's a problem as a whole with the tag team division right now. Is you have a lot of them that are injured right now. I think the Usos would be a huge addition to any tag team division, whether they stay on SmackDown or move over to Raw. But I mean, I think we really have gotten to the point here where we need to just unify the divisions and just have one set of tag teams, champions.
I had a feeling they were going to go that direction, but now after the draft, I don't have that feeling anymore.
It would.
Pre-draft, I thought, okay, maybe they're working their way towards that, but then there was the whole swapping of the belts dilemma that, was caused a big stir, and then just, they're not looking like they're doing that anymore. And I think that they're going in the direction of wanting to rebuild the tag team division, and it's slowly coming together. And I'm using that in very loose terms.
I mean, if rebuilding the tag team division is just, throwing random singles competitors together and flinging them there, I mean, yeah, I guess. But I mean, at the same time, they just split up Otis and Tucker like 3 weeks ago. So, I don't get that vibe at all. They just don't have any natural tag teams. I think somebody like, if they really wanted to rebuild the tag team division, obviously bringing up somebody like Undisputed Era would be huge.
Yeah.
That would add to the tag team division, and that would really add. I think they would be natural fits over on Raw. They're really needed on Raw.
Put them up to work with the Hurt Business.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and is Retribution still a thing? What the heck happened there? I don't even know.
This week, they could easily be a tag team. I think T-Bar and Mace could be a
tweak them a little bit.
They could be a dominant tag team. I mean, they have the size and the talent. They could compete. I mean, you just actually have to let them do it. Just actually let them win matches convincingly. It's not hard. You have the talent. You can do it. You're just not doing it. God, there was another team that I thought would have been really, really good. Man, I can't remember now.
A team that's still on the roster or a team that got let go? Because I was like, man, I still can't, like a few months ago when they did the letting go people, I still can't believe they let go AOP. That would have been a very great asset to the tag team division, obviously.
Gallows and Anderson. I mean, they there was a lot of them that they just don't, and then they unnecessarily split up a lot of tag teams over the last few months. It was just, yeah, I don't know. I think I would hope they're starting to realize how thin their divisions are, and they got to do something. Unifying the tag team titles would be perfect, because then you really don't have to do any kind of roster shuffling or anything like that. But the problem is, like, you had the perfect starting off point, which was this past Sunday, where New Day and Street Profits had an absolutely classic banger of a tag team match, like one of the best tag team matches that I think WWE is capable of putting on.
Oh, they're capable. We just don't always see it.
Right, exactly. Like, you even had what was it? One of FTR, I forget which one it was, tweeting out thank you to like all four of those guys for putting on that match.
I didn't see that actually.
He put that out on Twitter. I can't remember which one it is because my brain.
Oh, well, I didn't see the tweet, so
yeah. Whichever one of them, tweeted it out. They thanked them, all of them, for putting on that match. So it would have been very easy to go, okay, cool. New Day shows up on Monday, and it's like, all right, y'all got one over on us, but I'm willing to put this on. It would have been very easy for Xavier, who got coerced into putting the tag team titles on the line on Monday against the Hurt Business. It would have been very easy for him to just say, you know what? We're going to put these bad boys on the line because we know we can beat you, and then unify them at TLC. That would have been the direction to go. It's obviously not the direction they're going now.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting because, like I said, I thought it was going one direction, unifying the tag bouts, and then they did it, and now it looks like this is where we're at.
I don't know what this means, Michael. Aleister Black and Titus O'Neil.
This could mean one of two things. He wants to see Aleister Black versus Titus O'Neil, or wants to see them team up. What else?
I just want to see Aleister Black, period. He has been MIA again tonight.
MIA.
Gone. Aleister
I think
Black,
we're going to stay there.
Not seen since he was drafted almost dead last by SmackDown a few weeks ago. Between him and Lars Sullivan, those were still kind of puzzling. I was hoping we would see I was hoping we'd see Aleister tonight, not Lars. But the other one that was puzzling that was gone tonight was Seth Rollins, that they didn't do any kind of write-off, any kind of
follow-up, especially after what happened at Survivor Series. They didn't ever explain the whole, him doing this. I mean, we all get it. It's part of the Messiah character, but there was never any sort of follow-up.
I almost think it's because he didn't want to be in the ring with Riddle. Did anybody else get that vibe?
Did you see somebody posted some sort of like picture? I forgot who. I saw it somewhere on my Twitter where they were like, oh, he closed his eyes when like Matt Riddle was next to him. What?
Yeah. I think Kevin Owens had Riddle up in the corner or vice versa. And yeah, you just see Rollins with this annoyed look on his face as he's closing his eyes with like, I don't know if it was there, but Seth Rollins did say in an interview that he had no desire whatsoever to be in a match or be in a ring with Matt Riddle. So maybe that was their way of working.
So is that kayfabe though? That clearly was kayfabe, right?
I don't know, because there's some stuff that's come out about Matt Riddle this year, allegations
Yeah.
and whatnot that has rubbed some people the wrong way. Maybe Seth Rollins is one of them. Who knows? That might be something to do with it. I don't know, because they didn't follow up on it. I don't know if he's already on his paternity leave or not. I was expecting
Close my eyes.
I was expecting something tonight, but maybe we won't see Seth Rollins for a while. We saw plenty of them on Twitter and Instagram, because they keep putting out, new, baby bump photos and things like that between him and Becky, which that photographer does a fantastic job. I forget his name as well. But yeah, maybe we're not going to see him again until the Royal Rumble. Maybe that sacrifice will just hang out there in creative hiatus for several weeks now.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know about that. Let's put a question mark on that one.
Oh, I got lots of question marks that I can throw over there, Denise. All right, what else did we not?
Sullivan, Seth Rollins, Aleister Black. I mean, that's just like I'm just scratching the surface there.
All right, so let's talk about Bianca and Natty, this matchup tonight, which, okay, it is what it is. It gave us the end result that I think a lot of us wanted, which was the clear direction of pointing between Bayley and Bianca Belair. Like, the second that Bayley came out, I'm like, okay, finally, we're getting to this, because this is a storyline that has slowly been building. Bayley, has obviously been very, very impressed with Bianca Belair. And every time there's been a cross-brand something, it's like she's almost been afraid to fight Bianca Belair. She doesn't look afraid to fight Bianca Belair now, but now that they're on the same brand and now that they're open, it looks like this is finally something. And this could be the program that catapults Bianca to the next challenge, which would obviously be Sasha Banks.
Right, because I think we were all waiting, like you said, for that catapult to actually happen. It's like, okay, she's here. She's been looking impressive in all of her matches that she's been doing. They've done a great way. They've packaged her really great in the sense that we've been seeing all of these video packages. It's really clear to us who she is, what her character is, and what she's all about. So now, how do you get her from this point A to now, this point B? There's got to be something that happens there. And I think that was definitely what we saw tonight. And I feel like now we are headed in the direction where, well, hopefully, I'm hoping that we're headed in the direction now where Bianca can start sort of being seen as a main player instead of somebody with like, oh, so much potential. When are they going to pull the plug on there? Like, let's shoot her into something with Bayley. And, because obviously, like, as we all love Natalya and we know she does a great job. And that whatever match, sorry?
#boat.
#boat. Exactly. We know whatever match is going to be, it's going to be fine. But we all know that's not necessarily the feud that everybody wants to see. So having matches like that is perfectly fine. But it's not going to do much for Bianca right now until we actually have her move on to somebody that's been a major focal point in the women's division, just period, in the company, period. And that's definitely somebody like Bayley.
Right. And this is a big step moving forward, because the company is kind of at a point where they really have to start pulling the trigger on some of these other female stars that they have, because for so long it has been so dependent on the 4 horsewomen, Asuka, Ronda Rousey for a time, and really honestly nobody else. They'll sprinkle in Carmella here. They've Naomi had a good run a few years back, but even that seems like forever ago. So it's really time for them to kind of, let's put some of these other women over and really start building a powerhouse division. Because I think, people have this mindset of, they look at the SmackDown women's division or they look at the Raw women's division and they go, it's really weak. It's really weak because Charlotte and Becky are gone. And I'm like, no, it's not weak. They have talent there. They just actually have to utilize it and push it correctly. So Bianca Belair, I do believe, is a future women's champion. And I don't think they would be having Corey Graves drop lines like, I believe she'll be a champion within her first year on SmackDown, if that isn't the long-term goal of actually happening. So setting up this with Bayley is absolutely perfect. And it's a great way, because Bayley, who has dominated SmackDown for 18 some odd months now, that is a huge stepping stone for Bianca Belair. And I think they'll put on a great matchup too. Like I'm ready to see these two throw down for sure.
Exactly. They definitely need to bring up some of these women up to the level where if I'm going to see Asuka face, whoever, I want to actually believe that they have an opportunity. And same thing on SmackDown. I want to believe that the person that's challenging for the belt has a real shot. And this isn't just, a goof off. Like, I want to see like real potential there, but it just doesn't happen overnight. You got to build people up, obviously.
Right. And to their credit, when Bianca has been in matches, because there was a longest time when she was on Raw where she just wasn't on television.
Oh, yeah. She came in, popped out, popped in, popped out.
Right, exactly. But when she has been in matches on the main roster, I mean, think back to her performance at the Royal Rumble. Even her performance at Survivor Series. Did she win? No, but she looked damn strong in defeat. And we can talk about, the ending to that matchup, which I absolutely hated. Like, I expected Lana to be the sole survivor, but I wanted it to be in a way where she actually earned something, where she actually got over on someone. I know I can understand maybe you don't want to feed.
It was more by luck instead of merit.
Right, exactly. I can understand where you don't want to feed Bianca Belair to somebody like Lana who doesn't have any equity whatsoever. So I understand that, and that puts you in a difficult position. I don't think that was the way to go. But still, even in defeat, Bianca Belair looked incredibly strong. Now, all of a sudden, she has an opportunity to beat somebody like Bayley, and that's going to instantly catapult her there. And you know what? To Bayley's credit now, I've noticed this. I don't know if she's starting to kind of turn back into the babyface Bayley, but one of the big things she did on commentary tonight that I thought was great is she put over Peyton Royce on commentary, which was fantastic because Peyton Royce eliminated her first in that matchup at Survivor Series, which was honestly a big shock. I was stunned when that.
Yeah, and they didn't feed off that in that match. They didn't make a big deal of it as it should have been.
Right, as big of a deal. Right,
exactly.
I think Corey Graves called to it, but they definitely needed to be a.
She was eliminated right after that, so it's exactly. Come on, she just eliminated Bayley. Bayley's not a nobody.
Right, exactly, and it wasn't like a roll up or anything like that. She used her finishing move and she beat Bayley after they had been squaring up for some time. So that was big. Bayley also this week on Twitter has been putting over Peyton Royce. She puts Peyton Royce over on commentary, and now I think she's going to put Bianca Belair over in the ring whenever they do meet up, whether it's at TLC or the Royal Rumble or what have you. Maybe even both. Maybe Bianca eliminates Bayley from the Royal Rumble match. But I like what Bayley's doing now, where she knows she's been on top for so long, and now it's time to build up some of the other ones. And you can subtly see that. And that's where Bayley is absolutely such a pro. It's a shame, though, that they didn't follow up on Peyton's elimination of Bayley on Raw by actually putting her on television, which was annoying. The fact that they couldn't find in 3 hours to put Peyton Royce on television.
Yeah, and she definitely needs that because, like we said, not a lot of the intrigue, but I think a lot of people thought that she would be going a different direction with the breakup of the Iconics, and we're not seeing that.
Yeah, there's been no push whatsoever. All of a sudden, you see these videos that they're putting out on social media of Lacey Evans trying to talk Peyton Royce into becoming a tag team partner with her. Look, the women's division needs tag teams. But if you're going to put Peyton Royce in a tag team, just put her and Billy back together.
It's kind of like if you break them up, that's it. You got to find something else. I don't want to do the whole breakup, come back together thing like what we saw with the Riot Squad.
It was the dumbest thing ever to break them up. And they did it in such a nonchalant, like this doesn't matter kind of way.
And then they were friends one moment, then enemies the next moment, then the next moment they were crying for each other. It wasn't a clear, definitive, we love each other breakup or we hate each other breakup.
No, I don't think, because everybody kind of pointed to when Peyton chucked into the ring at Underground. That's something I'd do to my buddy, and we would just laugh about it later. Like
it didn't make sense though. It didn't make sense though. No, it didn't make sense in their storyline.
Who was in the ring? Was it?
They were just crying to each other about I don't know, prior to that.
All right, so what? It was Nia Jax in the ring, right? I think it was Nia Jax who was in the ring, and whatever. So okay, so if I'm in that situation, I'm going okay. So I can either get my butt kicked, or I can throw my best friend in the ring to get her butt kicked. I'm chucking him in the ring, man. No shame, chucking him in the ring.
No, it did not make sense whatsoever. Put yourself
in the position of
no, Rick. No.
Yes.
It didn't make sense.
Yes. It's no different than those questions of would you punch your best friend as hard as you could for $10,000? Yeah, my best friend's
okay. Maybe you and your best friend But people have different best friend dynamics, though.
You wouldn't punch your best friend for $10,000.
I don't even think I have a best friend. And if I did it, like my best friends, I wouldn't punch them in the face. So you're telling me like there's different types of best friends. There's the best friends that you're picturing, and then there's the best friends that are like, no, like I would take a punch for my friend. It didn't make sense what they were doing with their breakup. So that's why I'm like, you already broke them up. Now you got to keep them apart and give me some satisfying reason for that. And not just break up, come back together. If you're going to do it, I like definitive decisions. I do not like undefinitive decisions, all right? If we're going to do something, stick to it.
Right. I get you there. By the way, real best friends would know, yes, I'm taking that punch because at the end of it, I know I'm getting half that money.
Oh, well, if you're talking about money, but there was no money on the line, Rick. You're talking about a totally different situation. If my friend, let's say I had this best friend, and she was offered $1 million to punch me in the face, I would say, do it. But if she was just throwing me in the ring for no reason, then don't do it. There's got to be a reason.
Punch me, but you better be cutting a check once that.
Yes.
Once you pay the taxes, that's for sure. I wouldn't, Christopher, with a decent comment here, though. I wouldn't say he treats her like a joke. It just seems like they're treading water with Asuka right now. It's like
they've forgotten about.
I don't think they've forgotten about her. They just it's almost like they don't want to give her anybody or give her anything of any importance to do until Charlotte comes back. Like that just seems like they're treading water until Charlotte comes back, and then it's going to be Charlotte Asuka come Mania season. That just seems the way that they're going. Or maybe just maybe they'll bring up Rhea Ripley at some point. That would be great. She would fit in.
Fingers crossed.
That would fit in really well. Before we wrap things up. Oh, by the way, speaking of the Iconics and Billie Kay, talk about making the most of your minutes tonight. Like, I don't know where this is going. I don't know what she every week she just shows up with headshots applying for jobs that don't exist. And it's hilarious. Every week, it's funny. She was on TV for all about 8 seconds tonight, and she's just doing that cheesy, mouth wide open smile, looking for fist bumps, trying to get on the commentary table. Make the most of your minutes, girl. That was hilarious tonight.
Which, let's face it, they could bring her on to commentary and have her do something there. Heck, she could be the female Kevin Owens. Look how many things he's doing.
Yes, exactly. Which KO did a good job this past week on NXT for sure. But
it would be funny if she just popped in like NXT, like, hey guys, like when she goes through the whole SmackDown roster, no one wants to give her whatever job she's looking forward to, which doesn't make sense really, but it's funny.
Yeah, every week I know less is more, but I just find myself wanting to see more of Billie Kay on television. Like I said this weeks ago, give her own talk show. Like I would love to watch Billie Kay just go out there and just ask random and weird questions, nonsensical stuff, and then, just talk about herself or whatever. Or
even some sort of like segment, like, how like the Fiend has his Firefly Funhouse. Like she could have some random thing. I don't know what, something.
I don't know. I hope they're cooking up something for her because she is incredibly entertaining. And yeah, I want to see more of Peyton. I actually want to see Peyton Royce on Raw. Let's go. You have two very talented women here who are both funny and fairly decent in the ring. I'd like to see more of that moving forward. Real quick before we wrap up, we have to talk about because there was a really good stretch of TV tonight. Like, I know you didn't like this show, but you have to admit the going from Big E and Sami Zayn to Billie Kay on commentary to the Carmella Sasha exchange backstage was a really good stretch of 5 minutes of television. Like that was quality all the way through. I love tonight where Carmella's talking her trash. And then she's snapping her fingers, waiting for the champagne, and it's late. And then all of a sudden the hand comes in, and then there's that quick turn, and it's the boss Knuckles, and then there's the beatdown.
It had to happen. She was getting too many over on Sasha.
Right. She was getting way too many on Sasha. It was revenge time. These two are now exchanging blows. I hope they do more than what they have been doing leading into TLC, because it's obvious that's going to be the matchup. I'd like to see more out of them, but tonight was a nice little, get back, for her.
Oh yeah, I agree. I like this. That was fun because I wasn't expecting the hand to be revealed as Sasha Banks.
Right, exactly. It was nice. I like it when they can go any kind of moment that makes me go, oh, that was good out loud.
Yeah.
I don't get a whole lot of those from WWE these days. And yeah, I gotta agree with, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But Billy
Mdarit.
Mdarit. Sounds like a character from Three Musketeers. Mdarit with the Billy with the long open smile. Yeah, that's just, again, it just makes your heart smile when you see that. It was really good stuff. Denise, been a good show as always. Any final thoughts moving forward? Something that you would like to see next week on SmackDown? Again, you weren't a big fan of tonight's episode.
I would like to see a lot happen on the show. Not like, I don't want to see things drag on. I don't want to see 1 million packages of what we saw the week before just to kill time. I would say that would help out the show a lot.
Real quick, Christopher, hope my girl Mandy Rose gets a title shot. That would be over on Raw. I hope she's okay. It appears she suffered a shoulder injury a few weeks back and then was written out of the Survivor Series matchup, and we haven't seen her since. So hopefully she is doing okay. Paul not feeling Carmella's heel turn just yet. I don't know. I mean, I think she's doing all right. I just want to see more. It's been like 3 or 4 weeks of the same now. So I want to see things progress. I want to see things evolve. So I'm willing to wait back. And I still think her and Sasha are going to be a good match. I don't think Carmella has a prayer of winning the championship, but you never know. It's WWE. Never say never. I am looking forward to next week though, because like I said, it appears that we're going down the road of Big E versus Sami and Bianca versus Bayley, and Sasha and Carmella is starting to heat up a little bit. And then this thing, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan. There's a lot there. There's a lot of potential there. We'll see if we start ramping up here as we get toward the end of the year. As we're only less than a month away from Christmas. Can you believe that?
Yeah, seriously. Can't believe it. I think we were like 5 weeks in December. Well, yeah, like four or so weeks.
Yeah. 2020 is almost over, folks. We're almost there.
It's just going to continue, Rick.
I know 2020 is really not going to end until June of 2021. Let's be honest.
Oh, it's going to be a complicated year.
There's one constant though. Me and you every Friday.
We'll be here.
10 o'clock. Well, at least until my baby's born. And then it's going to be you for 2 weeks. And then I'll be back. Don't worry. I'll be back. You guys for watching Smack Talk. Appreciate everybody. And we'll talk to you next week. Maybe. We'll see. See you guys.